the record button. And then I say, yo, what up?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, back at it with another deck, huh? This time, Order Stain. Order Stain for the deck, Doc.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Orderful Hero Killer.
Love that. So, for anybody at home who doesn't know, we're doing some deck docs today. Basically, as a Patreon perk, we're going through and me and Black Ace are gonna talk about Stain. You know, hang out and chat. So with that, hit me with the elevator pitch of what's going on with your Stain deck.
Yeah, so ever since set 2 dropped, Stain's been a character that's just been in the back of my mind. Just been kind of trying to build him on all of his symbols to see which ones I like the best. Uh, Recently I played Order, or not Order, All, and I
Okay.
really kind of like the game plan loop of poking for your first 2 turns, building, hacking your opponent's check, and then just like watching them hang back until they overcommit to one of your -3s, and then you just kill them on the next turn after that. And
Love it.
looking at his kit and all his symbols, I think Order has some real nice potential because you get access to things like Electric Jolts. Indiscriminate Shock is a good kill condition, like secondary to your Slashing Whirlwind.
Right.
Yeah, and then if I wanted to, I have the Searing Glacial Storm in the sideboard, just because I didn't want to run that many 5 diffs.
Coward.
But Searing Glacial Storm also just like keeping them on 5 foundations and then hacking their check at least once per turn with Stain, maybe twice per turn with Challenging the Fakes. Like, you really just end up controlling the match so much more.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Hit me with what do you got going on foundation wise? What are the foundations you like? What are the foundations you value as your most important ones?
So obviously Challenging the Fakes, just to discourage my opponent from playing more than one attack that turn. I also really like Think Fast,
I can tell.
because Stain's best attacks that are specifically from his kit, right? Double Blade Slash and Slashing Whirlwind.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like their biggest problem is that they're mids.
Right.
So if I can change that and make them either to highs or lows, depending on what I want to kill my opponent with that turn, I think that really helps. It also then gives them additional speed. So now they're 7, whatever zone they are, instead of their base 5.
Right. That's cool. I like that.
And then obviously Creepy Realization, to make it to where if my opponent does want to try to go in and kill me, I can further tell them no and tell them to stop. Tape to help with the amount of mid blocks that we have, just because I feel like Order for some reason has more mid blocks than anything.
Yeah.
And then Drowning in Resentment, just because I can commit it with Indiscriminate Shock to make them commit 1, and I can still enhance and give it +2 damage.
Yeah, I love this. I think this card's really, really cool with Indiscriminate. With Indiscriminate and Electric Jolt and like a lot of really cool options. And this card's neat. One of the cards that I need to personally test way more.
Yeah, I agree.
So first off, I didn't have my face. I had my face up and not the deck profile for like the first 2 minutes of this video. So hey, chat, sorry about that. Second, I've put a bunch of cards in our sideboard that I want to chat about just a little bit. Okay, so first and foremost, attack wise, the only attack that I think that you're missing is just Grasping Tape Toss as a deadlock threat. Saying that my opponent's not allowed to build to the moon is really important, because it means that they're allowed, if they do get to build a deadlock, your character's response pretty much doesn't matter. And that sucks, right? Like it's not a threat in like the first 2-3 attacks that they play. It's only really impactful on attacks 4, 5, 6. And then they have to have those moves. Otherwise, like, your character's blank because they have the resources to pay for the -3 to the check.
Yeah.
And still feel fine. And so saying that, 10's the max. 10's all you get, which is why he's so good with Searing Glacial. But like, Searing's a 5 diff, 2 check, and we're already playing Dropkick Slicer mainboarded because you're a man. because you're not a big whiny baby, and I respect it. But this card is just like an extra option maybe in the sideboard that you should have, or even like 2 of mainboarded, right? Like it could be, instead of double blade slash, it could be like 2 of this and then 2 of this and then 2 graspings in order to like get the job done, right? As well as this is a throw that turns on our character, so it's not just all on jolt to get the job done. We also have this guy, and there are other order throws that we get to mess around with, right? Like reverse throw is a good one, but I think this card is really, really important, and I would take out the 1 and then the 1 here in order to play it personally.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can definitely see the argument for it.
Yeah. So let me know if that's the thing that you want to do inside of this, or you could do it on your own whenever I give you the list back. Foundation wise, I like drowning. I don't think it's a 3 of though. I think that's
really?
it. Yeah, I think 2 is probably where we want to put it. I think sometimes it's just going to be dead. It's one of those nice if I gots, not one of those gotta have it kind of cards, you know? Like
okay,
it's a wanted, not a needed. And it's a nice card. It's like I don't even need this card. It's got some cool synergy with these 2 cards, but since there's no other way to give your stun attacks give your stun attacks moves, I guess double blade slash also works, right? Maybe I'm reevaluating.
Double blade slash is a stun 1, and if they choose to block it, my next move gets stun 1, meaning these other ones that don't have stun 1.
You know what? Actually, we're gonna put it back to 3 because you really want to test the card, and so I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm not.
Yeah, I really want to test it, and I feel like order. Every time I build order, it's always fraudulent on high blocks. So I kind of wanted to, when looking at high blocking foundations,
yeah,
it's definitely one of those that I valued higher because of its block mod and its usefulness in the deck in general.
Speaking of high blocks, dissolving the conflict ? This card's tight. This is probably what I was going to replace. That
really cool.
I was going to replace that 1 of copy with.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it though.
This card's sick. This card's so sick. Talking from experience, there was a card like this in Standard that was a 2/5 that didn't have a block, that essentially just did this thing, that like was in a ton of championship winning decks. Like it was just so good just to be like, yo, you'll respond if you did decide to pay for it with your character, right? Like if you'll respond to your character, they do decide to pay for it. I just put that shit back in your hand. Hey, play it. It mattered to you. Play it again. No, but play it again though.
Yeah.
This card was so good. Pretty much every time it touched the table.
Yeah, I think it's good too. The only thing that really scares me off of it is that since my character's not really like hitting himself, right? He's not like there's not any other effects that really want me to be at this like low health total other than Dropkick Slicer, which is more of just a plus, right? Like I'm not trying to drop down to 10 before I start playing Dropkick Slicer.
Totally.
Dissolving the conflict, I feel like if I see it too early, then it's just going to be sitting on board forever.
You're right. And if you never get to 10 or less health, that means that you won the game.
Winning. Yeah, you're right. That's fair.
That means that you won the card game. How cool, how tight, how pog. This card's just insurance. That's all this card is, right? It says, "Oh, hey, I need you to replay that one just one more time for me, please." Does it need to be in the deck? No, I don't think so. But I think like if you find this card's a little lackluster, that's what I would probably replace it with.
Okay, yeah.
You've got 1 million mid blocks, my guy. You got so many mid blocks. Look at these stats. I know. 17, 15. Can we lose just a couple of mid blocks for some other stuff? Or maybe even like trade out some mid blocks, right?
We can definitely try. This was always my struggle with building order. Is just I don't know how you get away from the mid blocks.
I think triple think fast is so egregious. I think this is so many think fast. I think 2 is the right number. I think any more than that, they're just gonna clog in your hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think 2 is good here, and if you feel like you're really wanting to think fast, you should play Saro.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think he's the only character that gets away with 3 of it because of how instrumental it is to his game plan of that +1/+1. Making all of your moves +1 difficulty to make this card work is such a high cost. You actually have to be right at the cusp of deadlock in order to make this card work effectively. Even changing these to mids, like this is now a 5 difficulty move. You checked a 3 on this card, right? That's what Think Fast says. If I want to make this a low zone, I checked a 3, right? Because I've committed a resource, which is committed not just on my turn but on their turn. Is committing a card worth it for off zone 1/1? Maybe. Is it worth it for 3 copies of this card to say that I'm checking bad throughout my kill turn? No. No. This card on your kill turn is probably not going to see play at all. It's only really good for your poke turns. And so that's why I think it should be a 2 of. And I would rather replace it with anything like Heroic Lineage. Dissolving the Conflict is great. Charged Up is really neat to put in bonus copies of Electric Jolt. We could put in things like Defrosting if we've got big cojones and don't care about the 1 check. This card's really, really good at pushing that first wave of our game plan through of, I got to score a hit. And then from there, it's really good at saying, I'll give my thing -1 speed +2 damage, and then I'll give it +3 speed. Right, so I essentially give it +2/+2 by discarding a card off the top of my deck and committing my character. Because -3 to the check and then -1 speed. It's essentially +2/+2.
Yeah.
And so like these are choices that we get to make as opposed to clogging our deck with a bunch of Think Fasts, which don't widen our net at all. We're also like not playing sticky balls. Like part of the reason the order symbol is so crazy good is we get sorry, not sticky balls, passing the torch and calling for backup. Right, we get calling, we get passing. I'm not a 6-hander anymore. I'm a 7, 8, 9-hander. Especially with things like Dropkick Slicer, adding attacks to our hands. This card adds non-attacks to our hands. This card adds non-attacks to our hands. It's red. But once again, in order to do that, we need to cut 1 or 2 Intimidating Presence. We need to cut a Challenging the Fakes in order to find the room for our 2-5-3 mid block. You know. And that's just like what we're here to hash out.
Yeah, definitely. That cutting the filler is kind of like what I feel like I really need to do in the deck. Because I like a lot of the choices, but yeah, like you're saying, getting more just variety in my foundation lineup would be nice.
Yeah. I think this card is so niche. After I've already 1 or more foundation due to their effect, flip 1 of them. I think if we see this card played more and more and more and more, I think it's really good. But like a lot, like sometimes this card just like readies face downs. And it's like, I guess my Intimidating Presence was not actually useful. Right? Like this card beats Amphibious accidentally, but they still got to ready it, right? I mean, it was still readied.
Yeah.
Like this card's like really good at like punishing my opponent for like reusing Passing the Torches or reusing Heroic Lineages, right? Like this card's really good versus like Tokoyami or Asui playing a Crow and Frog takedown, right? Like, you know.
Yeah, that's why I was only having it at the 2.
Yeah.
Because at least in my meta, what I had to compete against at locals, the Life Asui that won the 1K was abusing the fact that they were able to run Crow and Frog takedown to re-ready their Passing the Torch. So in a turn where they maybe only opened up with 4 attacks, they ended up being able to draw 2 more.
Right.
To get more attacks and then draw into Tongue Smacks to get even more attacks, right?
Right.
So just having this on board just to say, yeah, you only get to use it once, like God intended, I feel like would just be, would just like feel a lot better. Plus, I do think like other things are running around too. Like Jiro's still a thing, so
right.
A 1 card, Unwavering Slash, is still going to be prevalent. Most of the time, they're not going to ready a face down with it. They're just going to try and ready something they're planning on using.
Right.
How
do I convince you to take Ice Gliding out and just put in the 4 calling for backup?
You don't have to convince me too hard.
Okay. I think this card's bad. I think this card, playing an aggro game plan, I think this card's not good. Enhance Commit to do a thing. Enhance Commit to do stats like this is like not very impactful Enhanced commit for +1, and then if blocked +1 sucks. Like sometimes this card says enhanced commit for +1 speed. That sucks.
You're right.
That is not good.
Fair.
I would rather have the extra creepy or think fast in the deck if we're gonna keep it a buck. And this card is just like, it's more draw, which means it's more build, it's more sculpt, it's more block. This card is just like so good on your prime turn after you've jolted. After we've double blade slashed. Hey, let me get an extra resource in my hand in order to keep playing the game.
Yeah, and I'm perfectly okay with that, especially since they're the same block modifier, so it's not like Ice Gliding doing something, insurmountably better than calling for backup.
My last one is Making a Stand. This is the last real card I want to talk about. How you feel about it?
I feel like momentum hate is going to be pretty prevalent. So I think having something just to say, hey, you discard one of your momentum, I'm not going to get looped by Todoroki too, right?
So that is for sure a meta call. I think pound for pound the stronger card to take this slot is just Heroic Lineage, specifically in your deck, because your character says enhance give 1 speed.
Give 1 speed, so then I commit this for +2 damage.
Correct. It's just +1 +3 in your character, because Stain says if I hit burn 1, and this says +2 more damage. So like on the turn that you're like gonna go in and kill them, there it is. But this is definitely a disruption card, and if you feel like you need that more for the meta, then we should keep it. Right? I don't think that there's a bad choice here. I think it's really just personal preference at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I don't know. Maybe momentum. No, I still think momentum's gonna be so important.
If you're afraid of Mineta 2, then this is the right card, right?
Well, yeah, Mineta 2 stops that. It also stops Ochako 1.
It does have to.
Because now Ochako 1
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Ochako 1 being able to loop back alley haymaker every turn gets real annoying real quick.
That's tight.
Yeah, under life symbol.
Ooh, that character's sweet.
So
that character's cool.
Just being able to stop that, right? Like, because under the Stain deck I have under all, I'm playing 3 Capture Evildoers, partially to fill Slashing Whirlwind, right, in case I need that 1 more momentum, but also to just selectively get rid of momentum from your opponent, especially since if you're playing Challenging the Fakes, you're going to eat hits. You know?
That is true. Well, I think Challenging should probably be a 2 in this deck anyways, because I want to fit a Passing the Torch in this deck. Passing or Shock Treatment. And I think this deck plays better defense than the all deck that we saw on stream earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just gonna have more cards, and it has sticky balls and creepies. But like Challenging plus creepy, like on a third move, sweet, very very cool. Minus 4 damage is rad. -4, -5 off of a self-sacrifice. Don't get me started if it's a Fury. Yeah, there's just like a lot of incidental DR inside of this list now because of Challenging. But it is your call. I think that's like the last change that I would make is maybe the set of 2 of and then pick either Shock Treatment for disruption or Passing for more flow.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Passing. I've fallen out of love with it.
Fair. Totally fair.
It's maybe worth exploring, right?
Yeah.
I could always increase the deck size too. Like I like a tight 60, but maybe 60 is not the right number if I want to really play around the 1 check. But
I think it just depends on like what your spam is, right? What your difficulties are.
I have a lot of spam.
A lot of spam. I mean, that's the order symbol, right? It's all spam all day. It's why I took the Ida deck to the regional, because or the provisional, is I wanted to play out 6 cards on my first turn, and then it proceeded to never do that because it was for a big event.
A 5-3 champ.
Yeah. Well, we went 4-4 that one, but we don't talk about it.
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I think that's literally the only suggestion that I have is maybe look at Shock, maybe look at Passing instead of one of these Challenge the Fakes. Otherwise, I think you should run this list, man. Give it a shot. See what happens.
Yeah, for sure. That's the plan. I have locals tomorrow, so I wanted to clean it up here, get your thoughts on like the foundation lineup to see if maybe there was something else overlooking, and talking through it, there is clearly some things I have to decide on.
Yeah. Is there anything in this list you vehemently disagree with that you just can't stand?
Honestly, not really. Everything looks tight to me. I'm not sure why you put gotcha in the sideboard. I don't know how I feel about gotcha. But other than that,
It's a 0.52 low that's just like good with the indiscriminate by giving it a +1 speed. This card is just like, it's good spam, and it just like feels really good as a card. It's good with this card. I think it's like a 2 of at max. If you can find room for the low block. Right? Like it's the rooftop vantage slot, right? If this card's not getting you the mileage you want, then gotcha is where it's at. But I think rooftop vantage is a better card when we're playing things like Searing Glacial Storm. The thing about the order decks, thing about Searing Glacial Storm is you want as many flip foundations as you can get, right? You want a couple really solid commit foundations, things like Passing the Torch, things like sticky balls, even Creepy Realization, as like you want you want those 5 core foundations, and then everything else you want to flip. So you just like yeet the face downs, be like, I don't give a shit about these, and then you continue to play your game. Which is why I like Heroic Lineage, which is like why I like Passing, which is why I like Making a Stand, right? Making a Stand just says +1 damage on every single move that you do after you Searing Glacial Storm them.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'd probably do that then. Well, I guess it depends. In person, I think Rooftop Vantage is better. On webcam, I would never play Rooftop Vantage because that's just flip. Because I'm assuming they didn't errata it, but I'm assuming they're going to give it the Jiro treatment where it's flip and then your opponent reveals the top card of their deck.
100%.
So
like
that's just never going to be worth it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 2/5, 2 low block, or 0/5, 2 low block. That might just be good enough. Yeah. But like under other symbols, maybe it is.
Gotcha, though.
Gotcha's just like a better card at that point.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna shoot this list over. Thank you for taking time out of your day in order to talk to me about your awesome stain deck. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Thanks for talking with me.
All right. We'll catch you next time. Okay.
All right. Later, bud.
Peace.